Hey besties, it's Diane. Today I got my hearing tested and I'm going to talk about why I have to go get another hearing test, and we're going to talk about mental health a little bit. That's why I'm putting it on YouTube. So let's get into it. First things first, Diane, why are you so young and you're going to get your hearing tested? I have auditory hallucinations. And I don't know if just from that description, you can realize that having auditory hallucinations and hearing extra random whispers, and then also not being able to hear anybody else in a room, and also thinking they're whispering, I don't know if you can see how that combination would be problematic, but we'll get into some stats. First things first, hearing loss leads to about 8% of dementia cases. Sorry, my cat wants to be a part of videos so much. We stand, Queen. Get down. Hearing loss leads to about 8% of dementia cases. So, because your brain is training to listen and figure out what's going on in your environment. So therefore it does extra work, and the extra work can lead to you hearing some extra things, which can lead to you not being able to discern dementia. Okay, it leads to dementia. Another stat is, sorry if I'm looking off, another stat is that about 16 to 24% of people who have hearing loss experience auditory hallucinations. There we go. So, with the stat about dementia, with the stat about people who already have hearing loss, hearing things extra, having auditory hallucinations, you can just imagine that somebody who already has auditory hallucinations, then losing their hearing would lead to more hallucinations. And then those more auditory hallucinations could eventually lead to me having dementia. And the one thing that I don't want to have is early onset dementia. And I also don't want to literally start losing my fucking mind because I can't hear people. And I just want to say the losing my mind because I can't hear people is separate from the dementia thing. I do not think those things are together. I just, like, with the way it is right now, I can't hear people and it is driving me up a wall. To get into more about how I lost my hearing specifically, sorry if I keep looking up there, my bad. To get into more about how I lost my hearing specifically, I have worked in retail for the better part of 10 years. And in those 10 years, the last 5 to 7 years, we had earpieces in because you couldn't have what's called a hot mic walkie-talkie, which is when your walkie-talkie is just anybody can hear a code, anybody can hear what your boss is saying. I'm assuming because they don't want bosses can be mean. So I'm assuming that's why. Anyways, those earpieces are directly on your ear a lot of time, and people's earpieces short out. There's walkie-talkie malfunctions. I've literally had on more than one occasion somebody's walkie go like just in my ear, and like the whole team had to throw their earpieces out. So it's not retail earpieces. I feel like I actually took an earpiece from one job and brought it to the other job because the other job's earpieces were so bad that I needed to. Part number two, even after I left retail and started doing insurance, I also had to start wearing headsets because we're doing insurance customer service, and that people yell at customer service agents. They get mad. It tears up your hearing to have those people yelling in your ear all the time, no matter how low or how high. It doesn't matter. Also, people's phones short out all the time when it is not fun. Okay, so sometimes I would have to take my earpieces out. I would have to take hearing breaks. I had a joke from when I worked in retail that I needed 1 hour to recover my hearing after I got off of work. And that just sounds insane to say. That just sounds absolutely wild for me to be like, hey, you guys, for like an hour after I get off work, I can't hear you or understand you. So just give me like an hour and then my hearing will recover enough for me to understand you. Yeah, so your girl's been struggling for a while. I decided to finally make the jump to just go ahead and get my hearing tested because I know I can't hear. I know. I like at this point, I'm not even guessing. I think I might have said it earlier. I'm not even guessing things correctly. I used to be able to look at people while they're saying things and be like, okay, yeah. But my family can attest to this. I have misheard so many things in the past 3 months because I'm pretty sure that my hearing is getting worse. That's just it. I've been stressed out, so I haven't had enough time to sit there and figure out what people are. I don't have time. I'm stressed. I'm going through things. So, which that's a whole nother video. So let's get to the actual test. The actual hearing test, I feel like, is not made for adults who have been dealing with gradual hearing loss and compensating for it. I speak more than one language, so one of the things that I do quite frequently is ask verifying questions to people. So I'll be like, okay, you said this, right? Yeah. So I told all of the issues that I've had to the audiologist before I started the appointment. And we start off with the tones test. Now, everybody's done the tones test. You've done that at some point in school, you did a tones test. The tones test, I feel like I had to stop myself from doing this and just say, did you hear a sound or not? Because the big thing is that if I hear at varying volumes, I know to listen for and also I need to again say I have headphones on. I can hear with headphones on. I can hear. I can hear. Headphones are the problem. Now, back to the test. So, the replaying the same exact sound, my brain knows to listen to it. So that wasn't helpful. When they switched sounds, there was a delay in me being able to identify if the sound was there. However, she wasn't counting those delays. Then once they did the word test. I told her I cannot understand what people are saying exactly. I will guess and stuff like that. So I had to make sure, number one, she can see me in the window. So when I'm hearing words and I'm like, she can hear that. She can see it. The words during the word part of the test were words that could not rhyme with anything else. Playground. Playground. What other word could that be besides playground? Especially unless I just straight up didn't hear any of the sounds. Hearing the word playground, hearing even vague tones of playground, like unless I thought she was saying play around, Traci. Now, the sentence test. The sentence test I did not do as well on because they say a whole sentence before they say the word that you're supposed to say. And I know that I messed up on two, but I definitely put guesses in for a few answers. And she kept counting those guesses as correct, which no, they're not correct. I didn't know what was said. I just guessed because she doesn't move on if you don't say anything. So two that I got wrong were pih and home, and I offered the following guesses: pick or pig, and then room, rule, broom. Girl, I didn't hear the word. Traci, you are a black audiologist. You are working hard. Do not give me credit for stuff I didn't hear. Traci, you could literally make me go insane because you're giving me credit for what I didn't hear. We did a peripheral sounds test, and I did not do good on that. I missed, I think, the first version of every single sound, and then at some point I was like, "Oh shit, there's a sound." That's not good. That. Anyways, Traci said that she thinks I have an auditory processing problem. And I'm like, girl, I think I really just can't fucking hear people. Like, I've always had an auditory processing problem. I know that. However, I can't hear. I can't even hear the audio to improperly process it. Sorry, I keep squinting. I can't, like, if I look at this camera, then I look over there. I can't look at my face. It's really weird. Anyways, um, I can't hear the sounds to improperly process them, Traci. I respect you as a technician, as a practitioner, as a doctor. I don't know, but that test was bad. I already recorded some of the stuff about this video and I started ranting, but I just want to say really, really fast that I told Traci after the test. I said, Traci, look, I need you to make sure that you give me results that don't count the things that I guessed at. I need you can keep the first result, but you need to give me the results where my guesses are not counted. Here are my results. So you can see that we're heading into mild hearing loss. But the other thing I told Traci, I said, Traci, hey, bestie, we're talking right now. I can barely hear you because my ears are ringing because we took the headphones off and I can still hear beeps. So that being the main problem is that I can't hear. And I told her, I said, I keep hearing beeps and my head is killing me. And she was like, okay. So yeah, I just got referred to another audiologist. Hopefully this audiologist takes my insurance and it's covered by my insurance. Because if it's not, me and Traci and UT Health are going to have some words. I'm be pissed off. I can't hear Traci. Anyways, back to me rant. So in order for me to get the care that I know I need, to get the assistance so I don't have to keep straining to hear my family and okay, this is an example of a sentence. My family will be like, did you turn the stove on? And I will hear stove on. And I will think that they said, is the stove on? And I will say, no. Now that's a low cost sentence. That's a low cost sentence. But you can imagine if I only hear 2 words of a sentence that has maybe 10 words, then I might need a little bit of help. This happens sometimes where I'll say, oh, like my sister will be like, are the dogs out? And I'll say, no. Because I thought she said, did you let the dogs out? That's a little bit of a different sentence, right? A little different. So, did you let the dogs out? Is what I heard. What she said is, are the dogs out? Now, if the dogs are not out, she will let my cat out. And I'll be like, what are you doing? The cat, why are you letting my cat out? And she'll be like, I just asked you, are the dogs out? And I'll be like, oh, Traci, again, I cannot express this enough. I am so happy that there are Black people practicing in audiology. However, do not give me any credit for stuff that I don't hear, didn't hear, kind of heard. Girl, I need some hearing assistance. I cannot hear. Also, I don't know what the also was going to be for, but side note, my dad blames my hearing loss on me watching YouTube videos. Which, hey, that does irritate his tinnitus. But this is like the equivalent of when I needed glasses, and he said that I shouldn't have been reading Harry Potter books in the dark and by nightlight when I was a kid. But I have like an eye problem that was genetic. So, anyways, thanks, Dad, for the advice. It doesn't matter whether I watch YouTube, regular TV, HBO Max, Hulu, whoever. I cannot hear. Um. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Y'all, y'all who can hear, be easy. Be easy. Enjoy your hearing. Enjoy not hearing extra noises or hearing noises that aren't there, or not hearing noises that are there. Enjoy that. Enjoy that. Also, I just want to say, I feel like if I hit the button extra, I don't think Traci counted that. Like, because there were times where I'm pretty sure I didn't hear anything, but my ears were ringing so bad that I did. Anyways, bye, girl. But I'm not happy with Traci. I'm not happy with Traci. But onward and upward to a new doctor. Also, I want my $80 copay back. I shouldn't even have a copay because I already. Anyways, bye.